If you hate dealing with unlocked viewports in AutoCAD, then this video is for you. We're going to develop an AutoLISP command that will lock all the viewports in your drawing in a single step. This video will also be a good introduction to AutoCAD's object model, and it will also be a good primer for using AutoLISP to cycle through each object in your drawings database and perform some type of action on each object. Before writing the actual code for locking the viewports, I just want to do a little experiment. I have a file here, it's just filled with a bunch of old junk, but also I've added a couple new blocks and an XREF to better demonstrate the, sweeping through your drawings database. I've also wrote this here. I'm going to be working with block tables and block table records quite a bit. And for someone coming from more of a drafting background and seeing these terms, you might want to associate them with like what you'd call a block when you're actually drafting in AutoCAD, a block or a block reference. But these are a little bit different. A block table record can actually represent a block, as we're going to see in just a bit here, but a simple explanation would be that they're kind of containers for other objects. Model space, for example, is a block table record. But anyways, my advice would be just to Google it, because there's way better explanations just from a Google search than what I can explain in this video. And just by showing you how to get access to those, you're probably going to learn more than me rambling on. So anyways, this first line of code is just going to get every block table in our drawing. This next line of code is going to print the name of every block table record in the block table. So there's quite a few objects. I kind of regret using this file for this tutorial because there's way too much junk in here. But all these, most of what you're seeing are in fact block references. These are the two blocks I just created. And this is that sample XREF. I'm going to scroll to the top, and you'll see model space and paper space. Now, just to let you know, I wouldn't use this method to get all the blocks in, say, model space or paper space for that matter. If I wanted to do something on every drawing in the database, I'd probably start with this line of code. But I'd also do something to get that XREF out of the list of objects. So this next function that I'm doing, it's a nested VLAX4 within another one. And this is just going to grab all the lines in our database and change the color to color 3. So I'm going to copy that. Paste that. It's going to take a little bit because it's actually searching through every object, every block reference, every table record, every object, and even, as you'll see in just a second, that XREF. So every line is not polylines, but lines are overridden to green. It hasn't changed yet because I got to hit refresh. So yeah, you can see the lines inside this block. The rectangle is a polyline. Now the XREF, it's kind of scary at first, but this is an external drawing, so if I go open XREF, you can see those objects haven't changed. Now if you really wanted to open up other drawings and change objects, you could do that, but that's way beyond the scope of this tutorial. And I'll just go to a layout and show you that all these lines, the color did get overridden to green as well. So in a future tutorial, I'll show you how a better way of sweeping through the database and only affecting the objects you want, because sometimes you'll want to change objects within every block reference. Sometimes you'll only want to change objects, say, in model space or paper space, and usually you won't want to change objects inside an X reference. With the experiment out of the way, we can finally start writing the actual code for locking the viewports. I think the actual code will take less time than the experiment did. For the actual command, we're not going to grab every table or object or block in the drawing. We're only going to grab what's in the layouts. I'm going to see if I can sweep through the layout collection and print off every name. I'm just going to go into the drawing quickly just to show you what all those names actually correspond to. All 4 of my layouts and model space. So if we only want the actual paper space layout objects, we have to filter out model space from that collection. Not processing the objects in our model space is pretty easy. All we have to do is add an if statement. Make sure you get the right string, because sometimes you'll get model space. It'll actually be called model space. In this case, it's just called model. Don't want to get into that, but that's why I like doing things like this, because then I get the actual name and the actual case right as well. I'm going to put that on pause just for a second, because I have to show you one more thing before we drive down and finish this code off. We're going to let's grab layout 4. Yeah, so with that VLA item, you can get the actual object's name. You can get the integer of the order it's in the collection. And of course, you can map through the collections as well. But so I'm using VLA get block, not VLA get blocks, because I'm only getting one block from one layout. I'll just quickly show you maybe what I'm actually doing here. The layout has a block. It's a block table record with a count of 8 objects. Using the VLA get object name instead of name, because we're dealing with objects at this point. This should work. Let's see. And it did. So we only really need to concern ourselves with the viewports. So I'm going to go into our layout 4. I'm just going to select every object. It says there's only 7 objects. Truth be told, I'm not sure what the other viewport is. It just might be the view we're looking at right now. This is, let's see, the actual viewport we're going to lock. Yeah, so I'm not actually sure why there's 2 viewports, but it won't matter. I think all that's really left to do now is just typing out the rest of the code. I might glaze over a few topics, so if you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. So the property we're looking for is VLA get display locked. This is one thing I'm going to glaze over. The VLA get lock would probably be, I think that's for layers. Almost forgot something pretty important there. We can get rid of this. We can actually put that there, and we don't have to hold on to any local variables. I'm going to do a quick check. I'm going to copy this to my clipboard. Almost forgot to load the command. And it appears to be working. We can also unlock all the viewports, of course. Let's reload that, go back into our layout. So I'll test this code a little bit, make sure I didn't goof something up unexpectedly. I think it's looking pretty good. So yeah, I'll have a good look over that Lisp command, and I'll copy and paste it into the comments below. I think I can do that. Before ending this video, I just want to not even give a word of warning, just a word of caution that when you do these object sweeps, you just got to be extra careful, extra aware of what it's actually doing. Of course, you always have the option not to save the file. But yeah, as you can see, this file suffered quite a bit of battle damage. Doesn't matter because I don't care about this file, and again, I don't have to save it. One neat, unexpected result was that all my dimension lines turned green. So that's something I'll have to keep in mind for future projects, but also it's something I might even be able to take advantage of. So that was kind of a neat discovery. Anyways, that marks the end of this video. Thanks very much for watching.